Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having a good night tonight and had a great day. I am Carol Williams with Williams Immigration, and I am the managing attorney at it is a boutique immigration firm. We work with businesses as well as families that are navigating the U.S. immigration system. So if you're a business, I work with founders and everyone in a business and in an organization to make sure that any of their employees that are not U.S. citizens have the right work authorization and the right compliance documents. And if you are a family, my clients are usually United States citizens who are looking to sponsor their fiance, their spouse, their parent, or their dependent child. And remember, in the U.S. immigration world, a dependent child is under 21 and unmarried. So if you are 19 or 20 and you are married, then you are no longer considered a dependent under U.S. immigration rules and regulations. So I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about immigration and see if you had any questions for me. I'm a lawyer, so you know there's a disclaimer. I am a lawyer. I have been practicing for over 25 years, or maybe just 25, maybe cruising into 26. I used to be an adjudications officer handling policy issues with USCIS up in Washington, D.C. So while I am a lawyer, I have my own law firm. I'm not your lawyer at this particular moment. All of my clients started with a consultation so that we could have a one-on-one conversation. So today and any other day that you see me on live, it is all educational. So if y'all have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we will make it do what it do this evening. If you guys don't have any questions for me tonight, that's cool too. Then I will go make my dinner. It's a little bit later than usual, but that's all right. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. And I will stick around for a little bit and see if y'all have questions. And if not, that's okay too. Maybe y'all are, am I missing part of the NCAA? Maybe that's where y'all are. I was supposed to put it on my calendar and I didn't. This is what I get. So I may be missing a game. But yeah, so let me know if y'all have questions, or let me know if I should be logging off to go watch an NCAA game, because if that's the case, then I can make that happen as well. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I see some folks that I think I've seen joined before. So let me know if y'all have questions, because if there's no questions, I will absolutely go make myself some dinner. Let me give y'all a chance here. And we are on TikTok, the YouTube channel, as well as the Facebook page. All right, let's see if I have questions this evening. All right, y'all, I'm not seeing a ton of questions, so I will give it a minute or so more. And then I don't see any questions. I'll go ahead and log off. I feel like I have FOMO over something that y'all are all doing that I don't know about now. Let's see, what do we have here? Someone said hello. Hello, I'm doing well. Although I don't have my glasses on, so I can't quite see your full name. Hello, Big Jeff. I'm doing well. How are you? Someone has asked, oh, this is a good question. Bamba Faye has asked, can we file the I-130 and the I-45? Wait, hold on. Oh, let me go back. Can we file the I-130 and the I-45 a few weeks apart? You can, but only if the priority dates are current, only if you are eligible to file that 485 at the same time. I mean, you can. There are certainly some logistical issues with that, but it is certainly a possibility. I'm curious as to why you'd want to wait a couple of weeks instead of just filing them together, though. But if you're going to do that, keep in mind you've got to be able to help the Immigration Service match the 485 with the I-130. So you want to keep that in mind. But technically yes, but there are certainly some logistical issues with doing that. What else do we have here? I'm trying to bring a friend to the States through like a school or work visa or TPS. Those are three totally different options. And so I don't know which one would work best for your friend. But yeah, I mean, you'd certainly have to look at those options to see what your friend qualified for, or frankly, if there's other options that your friend might qualify for. I-601 waiver time, I feel like you're asking me for processing times, perhaps. I have no idea. 601s aren't a healthy part of my practice. Number one. Number two, I don't know any processing times off the top of my head, to be quite honest with you. I looked them all up at the time when I either give them to my client or my client asks me for them, because processing times fluctuate a lot within the Immigration Service. So I don't know what the processing time is for the 601s. And also, y'all, processing times also depend on which office is processing your case. So that's another big piece of the puzzle when we're talking about 601s. Big Jeff, you've asked, how can I go about that? I'm not quite sure. What do you mean? How can you go about what? Figuring out what the options are? If that is your question, then you can click the link in my bio. We can schedule a consultation. And then we can try to sort out what's happening with your friend. Do you have any idea when the visa bulletin would be current or move for EB3 all other countries? I would love to know when the visa bulletin is going to move for EB3 all period. I would love to know that. But there was, hold on one second. I usually don't look stuff up while we're live, but if I recall correctly, on this current visa bulletin, I feel like there was a note on it talking about movement. Let me see here. There was a note. I was not imagining that. So on the April visa bulletin, so just for y'all that may not know, the visa bulletin is put out by the State Department every month, and it tells us where people stand in line based on their priority date and stand in line in order to get their green card. So if you are in a preference category for family-based applications, or you're in a preference category for employment-based applications, the visa bulletin really determines when we can file either that 485 for your adjustment, the last application before you get your green card, or it determines when NVC, which is the National Visa Center, will then schedule you for an interview. So at the end of the April visa bulletin, there is a note about visa availability in the coming months. And it says for employment-based categories, quote, very little to no forward movement is expected in the coming months since the final action dates for many categories advanced for April 2024. So we're not looking at, according to the visa bulletin, we're not looking at seeing a ton of movement. They have said, quote, very little to no forward movement is expected in the coming months. So I don't, I have no choice but to, kind of go by that. But I don't, my imaginary crystal ball has nothing on the movement of EB3 in the visa bulletin. So my question for most folks that are waiting for EB2s and EB3s to see some movement is, do you qualify for something else? Do you qualify for maybe a national interest waiver? Do you qualify for something where you can self-petition? If you do, that may be a route that you want to explore. If you haven't explored that route, then that may be something that you want to take a look at. But yeah, the April visa bulletin, that note at the bottom, they're saying, frankly, quote, very little to no forward movement is expected. So we'll see. We shall see what happens. Let's see here. How can we go about getting a fiance to the U.S. after winning a green card? How can we go about getting a fiance to the U.S. after winning a green card? If we were talking about the visa lottery, which is really the only category where you would, quote unquote, win a green card, then you would go through the diversity visa lottery steps, which they give you when when they told you you've won. You go back to that same website and it boom, 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 it lays out all the steps for you. If you are, you can take a look at their website and, do it that way, or you can certainly hire an attorney to help you with that. But they really do walk you through that process once you get selected. But you want to make sure that everything was good with the registration and the lottery entry for the diversity visa. I have seen heart-wrenching cases where individuals did not complete their entry selection properly. They were in fact selected, but because their initial lottery entry was not good and they had mistakes in it, they were unable to get their green cards. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that it was, that the information in there was done properly, because that news is never easy to deliver. Any other questions for me? Let me check over here on YouTube and Facebook. I don't see any questions over there. Although sometimes they're pretty quiet over there. What does the increase in fees do? Does it help in any way or no? I love that question. I do love that question. So the increase in fees. So USCIS increased their fees as of April 1st of this year, 2024. And the important thing to know about the fee increase is this. The fee increase is primarily because USCIS is what we call a fee-based agency. So when you are a fee-based agency, it means that the agency runs itself based upon the fees, based upon the filing fees. So, pencils, paper, computers, real estate, salaries, all that stuff, everything it takes to run an agency. The majority of the operating money for USCIS comes from the filing fees. So every so often the filing fees go up, right? This is why I tell people the filing fees they don't really go down. Like across the board, they're never going to go down because things in life get more expensive. So I think some people are thinking that, oh, great, we're going to see increase in filing fees. We're going to see more people hired. We're going to see, applications being adjudicated faster. I don't know that that is what the new fees will translate to. I would like to be optimistic. I just don't know that I see that. What I see happening in the short term with the new increased fees is this. Myself and my colleagues around the country filed a ton of applications in order to get them in before the fee increased. So with my non-existent crystal ball, what I see is another backlog hitting the agency, because I think thousands and thousands and thousands of new cases were filed. And so that's going to create more of a backlog. That is my opinion with my non-existent crystal ball. I think perhaps over time, once they sort through this, what I'm predicting will be a new backlog, perhaps the new fees will enable them to process cases faster. But I don't know. Quite honestly, I think the last fee increase, I believe, was 2016, and we've only seen backlogs get worse. So I don't know. I think it's great in the sense that they have more money to run the agency. I don't know that more money to run the agency is going to translate directly into speedier adjudications. But we'll see. I don't know. Again, my non-existent crystal ball, and my educated guesses based on past performance of the agency. So I hope that was helpful. Let's see here. I'm a green card holder. I file I-130 for my 5-year, but I can put in for. But can I put in for a visit visa? I'm not quite sure what you're asking me. If you have a green card, you shouldn't need a visitor visa. So I'm not quite sure what you're asking, unfortunately. Someone else is asking how much to file an H-1B. Well, the fees for filing an H-1B just went up. There's a new added fee for asylum, which I know sounds a little weird, so let me explain that. The asylum applications there's no fee for them, and so the agency has added a fee for every non-immigrant application that is filed, so to help defray the cost of the asylum applications. So the fee is based on the number of employees that a company has. So there's that fee. Let me see. I don't know if I have these all broken out for myself yet. Oh, I think I do. I just don't know if I can put my hands on it fairly quickly. Let me see if I can pull these fees for y'all. But there's a fraud fee for the first time you file for an H-1B. That fraud fee is $500. There's a training fee that is either $750 or $1,500. That depends on how many employees you have. If you have 25 and under, then it's the $750. If you have 26 and over, it's the $1,500. And then they raised I think the base filing fee is $760 now. I think. Don't quote me on that though. I think, and I don't have it right in front of me to pull it, but as an employer, filing for an H-1B takes. You got to kind of really think about the fees that are involved. A lot of my company clients, a lot of my business clients, they they do a lot of budgeting within their businesses. And so usually towards the end of the year, they will ask for an approximation of the amount that they will be spending on their foreign national employees in the upcoming year for all the immigration processes. So that is definitely something that as an employer, you want to know. And so that is something that I give to my clients. Usually they ask for it towards the end of the year. Sometimes folks will circle back and ask for an update mid-year. So we definitely do that for them. Let's see here. Tenure green card was approved through husband, but now he wants a divorce. Oof, I'm sorry to hear he wants a divorce. I don't exactly know what your question is, though. So maybe you could pop an actual question in. But yeah, the fact that he wants a divorce, I'm sorry. I'm definitely sorry to hear that. Nobody goes into a marriage thinking that they're going to get divorced on the back end. So that's hard. In Washington State, how long are I-130 cases taking from U.S. citizen applying for spouse? I have no idea. I don't know processing times off the top of my head. Processing times depend on the type of application filed and the office which is processing that case. The best way to find out your current processing time is to go online and look at the USCIS website and pull their processing times. But I don't know what the processing times are. When my clients ask me, I pull them up on the spot for them because the processing times are often changing. Let's see here. If I file an I-130 for my child, the question is, can I also try to get a visitor visa for my child? I mean, technically, can you fill out the application and send it in? Yes. The better question is, should I do that? Like, is that good for my particular situation? And that I do not know. That I don't know, to be very honest with you. Here's the deal with an I-130 and a visitor visa. An I-130 tells the Immigration Service that the beneficiary of that I-130 wants to come live in the United States permanently, right? It's part of the green card application. A visitor visa tells the Immigration Service that beneficiary wants to come to the United States temporarily. There are certainly times when someone will have an I-130, they will come into the U.S. super quick, and they will go back home. But it really depends on the very individual situation. Especially, it depends on the situation. My clients will apply for the I-130 for them. But then I look at each individual situation to and give them advice on whether or not I think they should then be traveling in and out of the United States. So technically, can you apply for a visitor visa and hop into the United States? Sure. Is that advised? I do not know because I unfortunately don't know your particular situation. But if you want to set up a consultation, more than happy to walk you through and have a conversation with you about your very specific situation. We can absolutely do that. Let's see here. All right. Are adjustment of status interviews being waived or not? They sure are. For super, super clean cases, they absolutely are. I think that, again, with my very non-existent crystal ball, I think that's going to come to an end. I don't think that's going to be the case forever. Part of the reason they did that was to help get them through the backlog. If they perceive themselves to be far enough through that backlog where they can go back to interviewing folks in person, they 110% will. So as of right now, cases are still being approved with no interviews. And this is, very clean marriage-based cases, very clean, parent, adult child sponsoring parent cases. These are very clean immediate relative cases. But again, I don't know when they're going to close that door. So, if that's something that people are thinking about doing, then I would say file for your relatives sooner rather than later. Certainly if you qualify, but they're absolutely still approving cases without interviews. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me scroll back. 10-year green card was approved through husband, but now he wants a divorce. Will that affect me? So in general, I would say the rule is, once the 10-year green card is issued, the divorce won't undo the green card approval. You're no longer at a stage where you have just a 2-year green card, where you would then need your spouse to apply to remove the conditions and get you a 10-year green card. So you have your 10-year green card. You walk away with that green card free and clear. Now, of course, that assumes that there was no fraud committed when you got your green card. But I like to be optimistic over here on my channel, so we're gonna assume there was no fraud, right? But a divorce, once you get your 10-year green card, should not negatively impact your green card. Will it affect my citizenship petition later on? All things being great, it shouldn't. But again, if there was something not quite right, or something, that shouldn't have been done at the green card phase, the Immigration Service will find it, they will dig it up, and it will come back to haunt you at the citizenship phase. But in general, if your green card was right as rain, genuine, no fraud, it shouldn't have a negative impact. And again, I am sorry that you are staring down the road of a divorce. That's never easy for folks. Is 5 times cash in bank enough to cover the I-864P level, or still need a joint sponsor? I don't know what the short answer is I don't know, right? I don't know. I don't know how much cash is in your bank account. I don't know how many. I don't know what your household size is. So I don't know. I don't. My non-existent crystal ball tells me nothing. So you've got to look at the I-864P and see whether or not you have enough income that meets the I-864P standard. And for those of you who may not understand I-864, I-864P, the I-864 is the affidavit of support. The affidavit of support is part of a green card application. That form says or shows that the sponsor of the green card, of the family-based green card, earns enough income such that the beneficiary, the immigrant, will not need means-tested government assistance when they come to the United States. So, that depends on the number of people in the home that are considered dependents of that petitioner. So, 5 times cash in the bank, I don't know. Like if you have a very low amount in the bank, then no, 5 times isn't going to make it. If you've got a ton of money in the bank, then yeah, five times might absolutely make it. But I don't know. So you've got to look at whether or not you make the income to cover the amount in the I-864P. Queen Cami 99, you are most welcome. I hope it was helpful. Let me see here. What else do we have here? I don't see any more questions. Let me see here. As soon as I said that. Okay, let me see here. What do we have over here on YouTube and Facebook? Right, I don't see any questions popping up on YouTube or Facebook. And I don't see any more questions on TikTok, y'all. So to that end, I'm going to call it an evening. I'm going to go make my dinner. This has been fun, as always, chatting with you all. I am Carol Williams with Williams Immigration. We work with businesses and families navigating our U.S. immigration system. If you want to become a client of the firm, all of my clients start by having a consultation with me. and the consultation is with me. It is not with anyone else in the firm as of right now, so you are more than welcome to click that link, schedule your consultation, and we can talk about your particular case during that time. All right, so have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I will chat with you all probably again tomorrow night. Let me look at my calendar. I think again tomorrow night. Yes, tomorrow night, and then we'll answer some more questions. I'll give you some more interesting info on USCIS and what's going on there, and then we'll hang out again. I will see you all tomorrow evening. Have a wonderful night, and I will chat with you. Bye all.